angels, I hope you're well. This is what's coming in for Scorpio in the month of June, Scorpio sun, moon, and risings. And I will say what's interesting, even though I just uploaded readings for what's next in love for the different signs, so far I have gotten romance for all of the signs Gemini through Libra. Now, for you, I'm not necessarily getting romance, but I am getting a lot of spiciness. And there can be an overlap with that, right? It could be a very spicy romance. But the songs I got were Princess by Devi McCallion, which is definitely a schmexual song, okay? An Eater by Matt Martian, and then Toes Down by Low Key Man, which I've gotten all those songs before. I don't think for like Scorpio specifically, but those were like the thematic songs for Scorpio. So we'll see. It could even just be like that creative energy too, right? I've gotten a lot about creative spark coming in for June for the signs. But you know, sensuality is tied to the sacral chakra, creativity and sensuality. But I first want to get 3 oracle cards from my Ascended Masters deck. Okay, one flipped over. Okay. So, okay. We have, there are some of these names that if I'm not super familiar with them, I unfortunately kind of butcher. But we have Persistence with Luke. We have Lady Nada with mother, wife, sister, daughter. So that could be a role that you play as mother, wife, sister, daughter, or there could be a situation with someone in your life who is mother, wife, sister, daughter to you. We'll get into that. But then I also have Take Charge of the Situation with Moses, which does make me feel, okay, I'm kind of getting a story about a repression of sexuality that has been a theme in your life. Perhaps the way you grew up, you were conditioned in a way to feel very shameful of your sexuality, whether that is like your sexuality preferences or if it's even just being a sexual creature, being a sexual being. And I feel like a lot of this shame came from the mother wound. Obviously this isn't going to be everyone, and I hope that most people had supportive, understanding parents when it came to certain topics, but I do hear like somebody calling their daughter a whore. I said that like Ralphie on The Sopranos. Sopranos could be significant, but there is something, even if it's not overtly about sexuality, there is some sort of like repression wound coming from the mother or a female figure of some sort. It's like the persistence in taking charge is like you need to continue to be autonomous for yourself and like allow yourself to move past the shame you held as like a child or teenager for these situations. Now, like I'm always going to advocate to being safe and healthy, both emotionally and physically, when it comes to any sort of intimate engagement or relationship. But you're also allowed to do what you want to do as long as you're a consenting adult, right? And that kind of like went 180. There is spicy energy there though, which makes me feel like you may actively be wanting to pursue something or are. And there is like this underlying shame or guilt in the situation, even though, you know, as long as you're 18 plus watching this, although being older now, I almost want to say like 25 plus, not to like lock anybody out of this, but I just think so differently about certain situations and engagements now, like looking back at my younger self and what I thought I was like ready for in certain things. But at the end of the day, consenting adult, you're allowed to do what you want to do without shame, okay? Let's get into the cards though and see like what's coming in. I just yapped for like 5 minutes about that. So I do feel like that's significant for someone to hear. And of course the Empress comes out. When I was shuffling, I kept splitting to the Empress card. But that also fits in with like the mother, wife, sister, daughter, and like being comfortable in your own skin as a divine feminine. And I don't read body parts necessarily unless there's like specific situations, but everyone has feminine and masculine energy, and being comfortable in that like receiving soft feminine side, I feel like is so key to you right now, and maybe something coming in June. We also have no freaking way. Dude, I think I've said this in every sign reading. I wish I would call the cards that I'm thinking of before they come out, just so y'all could see. Because I saw the Two of Cups in my mind's eye. We have Two of Cups and Justice. And then we have the Page of Wands. So it does feel like there is this new... Either you're like ready to engage in like a new kind of relationship, or there is one that you've been entertaining. And it's like... There's almost a justice to... Some of the shame you've held may have been from traumatic experiences you went regarding your sexuality, regarding your sex life, regarding someone having access to your body when they shouldn't have, right? And there's this justice coming in of like something that you deserve, Scorpio. Like you deserve to be worshipped. I think that's maybe why I got the song Princess by Debbie McCallion. Like, yes, it's heavily sexual, but it's also about like being worshipped in that way. And Eater too by Matt Martian, that's also very... And even Toes Down, they all have like very different vibes, but they're all very sexually devoted songs. So this may be like a case too where it starts off very sexual. It's almost like a sexual healing in a sense. But then it leads into depth. It's like the trust. Whereas a lot of times I think it's typically recommended like be friends first or have like that romantic connection first before the sex. But it's almost like that allows a safe, trusting foundation. It's like, okay, if I can trust this person to be like that with my body and not make me feel like shit afterwards or like treat me like an object, then perhaps I can trust them in other avenues. And I think that you're really being guided to listen to your intuition on this, and not like the anxious thoughts that pop up, not the insecure, intrusive thoughts. There's a difference between anxiety and intuition, right? Your intuition's not going to be overly emotional. Your intuition is going to sound like logic. It's going to be very, I don't want to say monotone, but it's not going to have a bunch of emotion attached. So when you think about the situation and you're like, are they really feeling me? Are they using me? What does the calm, quiet part say? Not the loud, anxious noise. What does the grounded, calm part say? That's the part that you need to trust, even if it's harder to, because our emotions feel so real sometimes. And I mean, they are, but sometimes it's also projection, because we link certain thoughts to certain emotions depending on past patterns. And so you need to listen to the quiet part, actually. Yeah, we have Three of Cups. Like, I feel like this is going to actually be a cause for celebration of sorts, a magician. Like, this is what you've wanted. And I think, too, if you've had any sort of sexual trauma or repression, there's that side of you that's, like, really wanting to be expressed. So, like, having this come in a way that allows you to feel safe to explore, like, even if this isn't a forever person that you're kind of like having this adventurous time with, it doesn't feel like anything that's going to end in fire. Yes, it does always hurt to lose somebody that we care about, but I feel like this is actually a very safe situation for you that could lead to more, but ultimately is an experience to take back your sexual autonomy. Wow. Okay, this was very different from my other sign reads for June, but I feel like this needed to reach someone. I'm not sure how many people it will resonate for, but I hope it finds the person that it does need to. And like always, Scorpio, I love you so much, and I'll see you next time.